Hola, and welcome to this month's market report for the property market in your local area. As normal, we will have a quick look at the facts, the figures, the latest news affecting the market, and what's the sentiment in the market for the rest of the year. Let's start off with the figures for the local area. Starting with Lanjaron, there were 61 properties available for sale last month, with an average asking price of €95,000 or just over €700 per square metre. In Orgiva, there were 59 properties available for sale, with an average asking price just under €200,000 or €1,071 per square metre. Over in the valley, the village of Lecrin, there were 26 properties available for sale, with an average asking price just under €145,000 or €1,082 per square metre. Looking at the valley as a whole, there were just under 70 properties available for sale, with an asking price just under €165,000 or just over €500 per square metre. So what's happening across the international markets at the moment? We live in an area in Granada where there are many international buyers. Although the Spanish market is still strong at the moment, it's the international buyers that are leading the way. In particular, this is with buyers from the US. We've seen a strong demand from US buyers, particularly through the Realtor Association, where linked offices across America are calling us daily with inquiries of people looking to move. Why are we seeing such an increase? Well, the dollar's been very strong against the euro. At one point in the last month, it reached 1.05 euros to the dollar. This morning, as we look at the figures, it was 1.02, so it's fluctuating around that, but has really been well above parity for several months now. In addition, the US housing market has gone over the curve, and we're seeing quite significant falls starting to happen there. Many people are bringing their move forward to capitalise on that, on their house prices there and with the exchange rate. This has seen a big increase in demand, and in particular, increase for video tours of properties, as this is something that's pretty normal in the US, and so there is a huge demand to see those. The Northern European markets have remained fairly resilient despite much media attention about prices potentially falling next year. I guess if you predict it long enough, it's going to happen, as the market is always cyclical, and anyone who's been around more than 20 years, I guess, will have seen cycles in the market before. But why are the markets so resilient at the moment? Well, for Northern Europe, two main issues really. One is there's actually a lack of available stock. There are still more buyer demand than there is available properties for sale. In addition, as interest rates have gone up, it's very traditional in most Northern European markets to have fixed rate mortgages for the term of the mortgage. Unlike other countries where people swap and change their mortgage rates regularly, this is not that common in Northern Europe. And so if you own a property with a long-term fixed rate mortgage, then actually interest rates aren't really having much impact. Inflationary pressures are on the cost of living, but certainly not interest rates. For new buyers entering the market, this does have an impact, and potentially over the longer term, we will see more of an impact on this. In addition, the ECB has not raised rates as significantly as markets like the UK or the US, for example. Speaking of the UK market has still remained fairly resilient, again due to this lack of stock, and of course, many existing homeowners will have fixed rate mortgages. What will happen when they come to an end and need to remortgage? We will have to wait and see. And most of the predictions in the market are there'll be around a 5 to 10% fall over the next 2 years in asking prices across the UK. How this will affect sale prices we've yet to see, and speaking to colleagues in the UK, there's still strong demand for property, albeit there is concern with interest rates rising, but the predictions are that this is going to curb the inflationary pressures, and so it's only expected to be a short-term issue. In addition, this has not dampened demand from UK buyers for properties in the Granada province. One of the reasons for that is similar to the US, where house prices have been rising quite dramatically in the UK over the last few years, and now they're peaking. People are looking to capitalise on that and bring forward their moves. In addition, there was some fluctuation over the last few months with the pound to euro, but it's looking like it's stabilising, and so that gives a little bit more confidence to buyers coming over from the UK. The other thing is we're seeing buyers who are looking to be here longer term, not just holiday home buyers. So there's been a bit of shift in demand, and that in turn creates a shift in what people are looking for. So it's really important to understand that in some more detail. I won't bore you to tears with it here, but if you'd like to know more, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can pop any questions below and we'll be happy to answer them in more detail for you. Some interesting changes to note in purchase taxes and sales taxes in Spain, which I think we know are quite expensive compared to many countries. There are two main taxes that affect buyers and sellers in Spain. In particular, let's focus on the sellers one, which is the capital gains tax and the Plusvalia. This is a local town hall tax. The capital gains tax is set at a regional level by the Junta de Andalucia, and so there's not a lot that can change in that, but the Plusvalia is set at a local level by the Ayuntamiento, and this can have quite significant changes based on the areas that you're in. For those of you who watch regularly, you'll have known that earlier in the year there was some changes to the Plusvalia, where first it was abolished, then a new tax was brought in to replace it. Well, from the 1st of January 2023, town halls are going to have free rein to set the rates that they want to, and this could increase this by up to 50%. Where there's no set figures yet, but it'll be interesting to see how this rolls out over time. So if you are selling a property in Spain, it is very important to try and capitalise on that before the end of the year, as your selling costs might increase quite dramatically should your local Ayuntamiento decide to increase the Plusvalia and make the most of this. The other thing to be aware of is if you're a non-Spanish tax resident, then the buyer will also have to pay a 3% retention based on the purchase price. As ever, tax advice can be very individual to each person, so it's always best to contact us for some more detailed information about that. And feel free to contact us below and we'll happily help you with that. Some good news for a change. The Digital Nomad visa and Startup Business visa has been set for approval. It's passed the first stage with the Spanish government, and it's actually set to come into force on the 1st of January. There was a window of opportunity for the government as there's a new tax regime in line with the Spanish budget, and that was the opportunity for them to bring this in and capitalise on that at the moment. There's still some final details being tweaked, but in essence it means that new startup businesses can qualify for a 15% tax rate, and digital nomads can also qualify for a 15% tax rate in Spain and be taxed based on their home country's income tax rates. Initially, it'll be for 1 year with the possibility to extend further. The final details will be coming, but it's definitely something we've been waiting for a long time and could be a huge benefit to the Spanish economy. It does bring it into line with today's digital world, and particularly places like Greece, Italy, Portugal, who've had these visas in place for a long time and have been benefiting from them hugely. Personally, I think this is a great benefit to Spain, and we'll see an influx of people looking to come here for the medium term with the potential to stay longer once they've established a base here. In 2015, the OECD ranked Spain as one of the worst countries in the world for starting a business. And having done that a few years ago, I can see why. But this will improve things quite significantly, especially for new startup businesses. So let's look out for the full details, but this is now anticipated to go live on the 1st of January. So we'll bring you more news as and when it happens. Finally, the clocks have gone back, and we all enjoyed an extra hour to spend the other Sunday. But what does this mean for the property market? Well, interestingly, it always brings a sharp increase in inquiries, particularly from Northern Europe. As things start to get dark around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, the weather's not been great across Northern Europe the last few weeks. And so people are yearning for that sunshine that we have here in Andalucia and the lifestyle that brings. So a great increase in inquiries over the last few months, and we're anticipating to see that continue through until December. As we enter December, Northern Europe tends to go into holiday mode or Christmas holiday mode, and so it's important to capitalise on that market now if you're in the market looking to sell before we reach the January and the spring rush. So don't forget, the clock's going back might seem a little bit of a sad thing, but actually is very, very good for those looking to sell a property. So don't hesitate to get in touch and we can tell you more about that. As I said before, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to add them below. We're always interested to hear them. And if there's any subjects you'd like us to cover for you, don't hesitate to ask. Bye for now.